Hello and welcome. In this episode, I cover Identify Business Analysis Performance Improvements as part of Chapter 3 of the CBAP Guide. So without further ado, let's get started. The purpose of identifying business analysis performance improvements is to assess business analysis work and to plan to improve processes where required. To monitor and improve performance, it is necessary to establish the performance measures, conduct performance analysis, report on the results of the analysis, and identify any necessary preventive, corrective, or developmental actions. Performance analysis should occur throughout an initiative. Once potential performance improvements are identified, they become guidelines for the next time a task is executed. There are a couple of elements to keep in mind. One is performance analysis. What constitutes effective business analysis work depends on the context of a particular organization or initiative. Reports on business analysis performance can be informal and verbal, or they may include formal documentation. Reports on business analysis performance are designed and tailored to meet the needs of various types of reviewers. Assessment measures is a second element. If current measures exist, the business analyst may leverage them or determine new measures. The business analyst may also elicit assessment measures from stakeholders. Performance measures may be based on deliverable due dates as specified in the business analysis plan, metrics such as the frequency of the changes to business analysis work products, the number of review cycles required, task efficiency, or qualitative feedback from stakeholders and peers regarding the business analyst deliverables. Now, you may have seen this in the form of like a peer review, and that's just one component of the performance reviews. So just something to keep in mind that you may have encountered this as part of your day-to-day business analysis tasks. Some possible measures are accuracy and completeness, determine whether the business analyst work products were correct and relevant when delivered, or whether ongoing revisions were needed to gain acceptance by stakeholders. No knowledge, assess whether the business analyst had the skills and or experience to perform assigned tasks. Effectiveness, assess whether the business analyst work products were easy to use as standalone deliverables or whether they required extensive explanation in order to be understood. Organizational support, assess whether there were adequate resources available to complete business analysis activities as needed. Significance, consider the benefit obtained from the work products and assess whether the cost, time, and resource investments expended to produce the work products were justified for the value they delivered. Strategic, look at whether business objectives were met, problems were solved, and improvements were achieved. Timelines, evaluate whether the business analyst delivered the work on time for stakeholder expectations and on schedule. So just to summarize, you're looking at accuracy and completeness, knowledge, effectiveness, organizational support, significance, strategic, and timelines as some of the variables to understand the performance of a business analyst. The third part of it is analyze results. The business analysis process and deliverables are compared against a set of defined measures. The analysis may be performed on the business analysis process, the resources involved, and the deliverables produced. Performance may be determined from the point of view of the stakeholders who are the recipients of the business analysis work. Other times, a personnel manager or center of excellence may make this determination and provide assessment. All stakeholders may have input in assessing the values of the business analysis work, but organizations may differ in terms of who has the authority to set the targets against which performance is measured. Fourth element is recommend actions for improvement. Once the analysis of performance results is complete, the business analyst engages the appropriate stakeholders to identify the following actions. One is preventive. It reduces the probability of an event with a negative impact. Corrective establishes ways to reduce the negative impact of an event. And improvement establishes ways to increase the probability or impact of events with a positive impact. These actions are likely to result in changes to the business analysis approach, repeatable processes, and tools. Now, before we move forward, I'd love to hear from you as to how you and your team conducts performance analysis, and please do comment below. Guidelines and tools. Organizational performance standards may include performance metrics or expectations for business analysis work mandated by the organization. Techniques are brainstorming, interviews, item tracking, lessons learned, metrics and key performance indicators, observation, process analysis, process modeling, reviews, risk analysis and management, root cause analysis, surveying or questionnaires, and workshops. A couple of stakeholders involved here are domain subject matter experts, project manager, and your sponsor. Let's look at this from a case study perspective. Amanda has been assigned to a new project to move the restaurant's business online. Let's review what she basically does as part of this task. So she doesn't do the work, but her work is being analyzed in terms of a performance. So in order to undertake this, there needs to be certain inputs and outputs. So let's look at those. So you're going to look for the business analysis approach as well as the performance objectives, that meaning external. And then outputs are the business analysis performance assessment. So those are your inputs and outputs. So as part of this effort, maybe some of her peers or some of her managers will take that into consideration. In order to kind of review her work, some of the elements here used are performance analysis, some assessment measures as well, and some possible measures are accuracy and completeness, whether she was able to accurately complete the effort or complete the documentation, the knowledge that she has assessed or gained, effectiveness of her work, whether there's been assessed whether there were adequate resources available to complete business analysis activities as needed, the significance, consider the benefit obtained from the work products and assess whether the cost, time, and resource investments expended to produce the work products. Strategic, look at whether business objectives were met, problems were solved. Timelines, evaluate whether the business analyst delivered the work on time for stakeholder expectations and schedule. Then you're going to then someone analyzes the results, and then recommend actions for improvement in terms of whether there's some preventive actions, corrective actions, or improvement actions. Some of the guidelines and tools here are the organizational performance standards. So they may be like the center of excellence. That may include performance metrics or expectations for business analysis work. That's something to consider while evaluating Amanda's work. Some techniques used here are brainstorming, interviews, item tracking, lessons learned, metrics, and key performance indicators. Some may want to observe her work. Process analysis is used to analyze existing business analysis processes and identifying opportunities for improvement. Process modeling, reviews, risk analysis, root cause analysis, survey questionnaires, as well as workshops. And a couple of stakeholders that her peers or her managers would leverage are the domain subject matter experts, maybe interviewing them, assessing the effectiveness of her work, project managers, making sure that she's able to deliver projects on time and with quality. And the last one is working with a sponsor to understand and get more of a 360 view of Amanda. That being said, thank you so much for listening to this episode. As I mentioned earlier, if you do have a center of excellence or some sort of cheat sheet that you use in order to assess performance, would love to hear from you. Please do comment below. Until next time, thank you for listening and look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Please do subscribe to this channel as well as visit our website, baknowledgeshare.com. Thank you.